Hey, what's going on, guys? Brian from Zombie Guitar here. In this lesson, it's going to be divided into 3 parts. All right. So basically, we're going to be improvising over just one chord, but you could apply this concept to an entire chord progression as well. But just for simplicity's sake, we're just going to solo over one chord. It's going to be the E dominant 7 chord. Okay. And the 3 parts of this lesson are going to be: number 1, we're going to solo over that chord, taking a major approach. Okay, so the soloing or the improv that we do is going to have a major type of sound. The second part is going to be soloing, producing a minor or bluesy type of sound. Okay, then the third part is going to be where we combine the two together to make a hybrid of a major minor tonality. Okay, so this concept that I'm talking about here in this lesson, this is going to be section 26 of my lead guitar improv course. Section 26 as of today is not up yet, but by the end of January it will be. So for those of you that are members of my course, this is what's to come. If you're not members of the course and you are interested in that, there's a link below if you want to check that out. But with that said, let's get started with this lesson. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Okay, so the first approach that we're going to take improvising over this one chord is going to be the major sounding approach. All right, so when I say the major sounding approach, we can start out just looking at our major pentatonic shell. Okay, so this is an E dominant 7 chord, therefore we're going to use our E major pentatonic shell. And in order to locate that box, you take your pinky, you locate your root on the low E string right here, 12th fret, that's your note E. And this is your major pentatonic box. So this is E major pentatonic. Okay, E major pentatonic. Now, anytime you use the pentatonic scale, you can always throw in your blue note. Okay, and the blue note is always going to be located in the same spot, whether it's a major pentatonic shell or a minor pentatonic shell. All right. So your blue note's right here, as you see the blue dot on the screen. Alright, so that's the E major pentatonic, okay? So you can use that as, just your starting shell to improvise, creating a major type of tonality over this one chord. Alright, so let's hear how that sounds. So something like that for the major sound, okay? Now, say you wanted to add some extra notes in and move beyond, just the pentatonic or blues, okay? So you might want to add in some extra notes to create the E Mixolydian mode, okay? So the Mixolydian mode is a major type of mode or major type of scale, okay? And essentially it fits right into this pentatonic shell, but, it just adds a couple more flavor notes. So your E Mixolydian mode in the pentatonic shell here would be this. Okay, so that's your E Mixolydian mode. Okay, so it fits right there. All right, so still we're just working with major tonalities. Okay, we haven't gotten to minor, we haven't gotten to hybrid yet. We're still on major type of tonality. Okay, so just improvising using the E Mixolydian mode over top of this E dominant 7 chord, it would sound something like this. Okay, so something like that. So essentially, you're still working in the major pentatonic shell, and you can throw in that blue note whenever you want. Okay, but we just go in pentatonic, then we add in a couple extra notes to make the E Mixolydian mode. Okay, so that's taking the major tonality type of approach, producing a major type of sound with your lead playing over top of that E dominant 7 chord. All right, and like I said, you can apply this concept to entire chord progressions as well. but for simplicity's sake, we're just sticking with soloing over one chord. All right, so now let's take a look at soloing with a minor type of tonality. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at the minor approach to soloing over this chord. All right, so we're going to start out with our pentatonic shell again, but when you're locating your pentatonic box for a minor tonality, you use your first finger instead of your pinky. So you take your first finger, locate the E on the low E string, 12th fret, and here's your minor pentatonic box, E minor pentatonic. Okay, it's the same box, except we're just shifting up, now locating our root with our first finger, whereas in the previous section we located our root with our pinky. Okay, so that's that. And of course you can always add in your blue note as well. Okay, so again, just jamming over top of that E7 chord, now it's going to have a different type of sound. It's going to have a bluesy tonality or a minor type of tonality. Okay, so let's hear how that sounds like. Okay, something like that. So that's the minor pentatonic, right? You see how it sounds, it's now minor sounding, now bluesy sounding. It sounds way different than it did before because now it's minor tonality. All right, so again, if you wanted to add in some extra notes here, instead of just sticking with the minor pentatonic or minor blues, you could go ahead and you can add in your extra notes to create the E Dorian mode. All right, so the E Dorian mode would look like this. Okay, so this essentially is like blues theory. It kind of breaks the rules, all right, because we're soloing over a major type of chord, like an E dominant 7 chord is an E major triad with the 7th degree, the flat 7th degree, but we're imposing a minor type of sound over it. Okay, so we're essentially imposing like an E minor chord or an E minor sound using chord tones from the E minor chord, but we're playing it over an E dominant 7 chord, right? So this is blues theory, essentially breaks diatonic theory. All right, so but anyway, it still sounds good. It sounds bluesy. It's done all the time. You take a minor tonality, play it over major chords, and you get that that bluesy sound. All right, so that's that. So let's just try improvising with the E Dorian mode and see what that sounds like. Alright, something like that. So that's the E Dorian mode, okay? So again, we're still minor tonality. We're just kind of extending a little bit beyond just, basic pentatonic, basic minor pentatonic, minor blues. We're just adding in a couple extra flavor notes, and we use the E Dorian mode to do so, alright? So, we soloed in our major pentatonic area, okay? Now we just soloed in our minor pentatonic area, creating 2 different tonalities. So the third part of this lesson is going to be combining the 2 together, all right? And that's where things get really interesting. Okay, so now in this final part of this lesson, we are going to create a hybrid scale of both the major and minor tonalities, all right? So in part 1, we looked at our pentatonic shell. We looked at the E major pentatonic shell that fell in between the 9th and the 12th fret area. We located our, our root note of the scale with our pinky, 12th fret, low E string pinky. That made our E major pentatonic box, okay? And then we added in some extra flavor notes, and we chose the Mixolydian mode to do so. Okay, and that's your major tonality stuff. And in the second part, we looked at the minor tonality, okay? So you have your E minor pentatonic box. This is now the 12th to the 15th fret region, and we located our scale root using the first finger. Okay, so first finger 12th fret, okay, and then alright, and then we added in some extra flavor notes, and the scale that we used to do that was the E Dorian mode, okay, so alright, and of course you can always throw in your blue note as well. I just don't want to overwhelm you with too many notes and whatnot, okay, but the blue note, whether you're major or minor pentatonic box, the blue note always works as well. Alright, so just keep that in mind. But now we want to combine the two together, okay? Essentially what we're going to do is combine the Dorian mode and the Mixolydian mode together to create this hybrid scale. Alright, and we're going to do so right here in this pentatonic box, the 12th to 15th fret area, because that's just the pentatonic box you're probably more familiar with. Alright, usually people play the minor pentatonic as opposed to the major pentatonic, but it works all up and down the neck of the guitar. Alright, but for the purpose of this lesson, we're just going to focus on this area here. Alright, so let's look at the scale formula of the Mixolydian mode. The scale formula is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. And then the scale formula of the Dorian mode is 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, flat 7. Okay, so the only difference between the Dorian mode and the Mixolydian mode is the third. Okay, so the Dorian mode has a flat third, the Mixolydian mode has a major third interval. Alright, so even though they seem like two completely different scales, they are very, very closely related to one another. Okay, they're only one note difference, and the only difference is the minor third versus the major third. Alright, so that's what you're going to do to create your hybrid scale. So here in this 12th to 15th fret area, okay, we use the E Dorian mode. Alright, but just keep in mind that wherever the third is, one note higher would be the major third, and that would be the creation of the Mixolydian mode. Alright, so that's your hybrid scale. Okay, so here's your third here, or here's your minor third here. Okay, here's your major third. Okay, the only difference is if you walk through the scale and you hit the major third, you're playing Mixolydian. If you walk through the scale and play your minor third, you're playing Dorian. But we're just going to do both, okay? So we're going to do things like, okay, see how that major third, minor third, or minor third to major third? Okay, that's it. Just that addition right there. So you could be thinking Dorian the whole time. You could be thinking E minor pentatonic. You could be thinking E minor blues. Whatever you want to think, just keep in mind of where that major third, minor third interval is, right? Okay, so that's pretty much the only thing I'm adding. So let's hear how that sounds. Okay, so that was just a quick little demonstration of how you might, or how I go about utilizing this hybrid scale. Okay, so I was trying to place emphasis on that minor third to major third to scale root, this or okay, so things like that. I was trying to emphasize that major minor third combination there, but I don't know, listen to some of your other favorite blues guys, listen to Hendrix, listen to all the blues guys that are far better than myself to hear how they incorporate this, okay? So I'm not the best blues player in the world, but I can explain the theory behind it, so, take from that what you will. So I think that's going to be it for today's lesson. I hope that you were able to learn something from this. I hope that this lesson was helpful to you. Leave a comment, question, whatever, and I'll do my best to get back to you. Thanks for watching.